Over the last 4 years, we've worked hard to reimagine how we approach transportation in Howard County. When I first took office, too many of our neighbors could not safely walk, bike, roll, or even travel around their community, and there wasn't enough being done to address these issues and concerns. In 2019, we took a bold step of proposing a complete streets policy and launching a complete streets implementation team, which was charged with developing visionary and transformational standards of transportation, access, and safety in Howard County. This incredible team worked for more than 2 years to draft a complete streets design manual that was comprehensive and unparalleled in its efforts to make our streets safer for all. Our diligent combined efforts and hard work have paid off. Today, I'm thrilled to announce that Howard County has received a national recognition from Smart Growth America for having the best complete streets policy in our nation with a 100% perfect score. Howard County is the first jurisdiction in our country to receive this perfect score from the National Complete Streets Coalition under their current scoring matrix. In their review of our Complete Streets policy, Smart Growth America noted that Howard County has a strong complete streets policy and that now we prioritize historically underserved and disinvested communities and vulnerable street users, which include pedestrians, bicyclists, children, seniors, and people with accessibility needs. I want to take a moment to thank all of our partners from Howard County Government, Horizon Foundation, the Streets for All Coalition, who were essential members of our policy development team, as well as PATH, and all of our neighbors who gave their time and insight. This national recognition is a result of collaboration, hard work, and a truly inclusive process. However, we know that the work does not stop here. With a world-class complete streets policy now in place, we must continue our efforts to invest in and expand a truly multimodal transportation infrastructure here in Howard County. That is why I'm excited to announce a historic $13.2 million in funding for complete streets infrastructure in our FY24 capital budget. This is an increase of $5 million over last year's transportation budget and a total increase of approximately 300% from when I took office. With this record funding, we will work to advance needed bicycle, pedestrian, transit, and complete streets projects in every corner of our county, from Elkridge to Ellicott City, Laurel to Jessup, Columbia to Clarksville, and beyond. This investment of over $13 million includes funds for major projects that will make our streets safer, including $1.3 million for the Rogers Avenue Complete Streets project and $1.1 million for Guilford Road improvements. These projects will greatly improve bike and pedestrian connections on both of those major roadways. We're also expanding our network of pathway connections throughout Howard County with an investment of approximately $1 million for exciting new South Entrance Trail, which will link downtown Columbia with the existing Patuxent Branch Trail. This investment matches a $4 million grant that we received from our congressional delegation just last year. With this network complete, there will be a direct bicycle and pedestrian connection all the way from North Laurel to downtown Columbia and beyond. Finally, the FY24 capital budget also includes 2 new capital projects that advance our shared commitment to transportation and connectivity. The first project is the Dobbin Road Pathway, which will construct a 2-mile-long multi-use pathway for walking and cycling along the entirety of Dobbin Road. The second new project is the US 1 Corridor Safe Streets for All project, which will bring critical streetscape, pedestrian, bicycle, and transportation safety improvements along the Route 1 corridor from historic Elkridge to Laurel. We are also continuing to take important strides to advance public transportation investments everywhere throughout our community. To support our growing transit needs, I'm committing $150,000 to expand transit service in the Elkridge area in this FY24 budget. We also know, to be truly successful, our transit efforts also require cross-county collaboration. This is why we're partnering with Montgomery County to bring the Flash bus rapid transit service to Howard County, providing a new transit connection between our 2 jurisdictions. This expansion, yeah, that is pretty big. This expansion was awarded more than $3 million from the federal government for the purchase of Flash buses, and Howard County has committed over $850,000 in matching funds to support this partnership. Now, I remain fully committed to these transportation investments because our streets, pathways, and sidewalks are more than just infrastructure. They are what connects us as a community. And I understand, while we are making incredible strides, we do still have work to do. Complete streets allow our children and our students to walk and bike safely to schools and parks. They ensure that our neighbors with disabilities can access transit and other transportation modes. More complete streets provide unlimited opportunities for connections between our neighbors, our neighborhoods, growing and strengthening our sense of community. I want to take a moment to thank Council Chair Rigby and the entire County Council for their continued commitment and partnership in supporting complete streets and an inclusive transportation network in Howard County. I also want to thank the Horizon Foundation, the Streets for All Coalition, and PATH for their long-standing and steadfast advocacy for a world-class complete streets policy and infrastructure improvements that help people live healthy, safe, and supported lives. These accomplishments and accolades would not have been possible without the dedicated members of the Multimodal Transportation Board, Bicycle Advisory Group, and the Complete Streets Implementation Team. Please give them a big round of applause. Now, in particular, I would like to thank the outgoing chair of the Multimodal Transportation Board, Larry Schoen. Thank you, Larry, for your tireless efforts to move Howard County forward. He has been such a strong advocate and partner, holding my hand as we walk along, sometimes pulling me a little farther, but such a great friend and partner. Larry joined the board in 2014 and was an outstanding contributor to the Complete Streets implementation team that delivered on this nationally recognized Complete Streets policy. Thank you again, Larry. I did a little bit in the beginning, but I really want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Office of Transportation, the Department of Public Works, and the Regional Transportation Agency of Central Maryland. They work every day to address transportation needs. Thank you all so much. Through our collective efforts, we will continue to prioritize the safety and needs of pedestrians, cyclists, drivers, and transit riders of all ages, incomes, and abilities. In doing so, we will ensure a safer, better, more equitable transportation system, not merely overall, but for all. Thank you.
So it's great to be here on behalf of the council and representing District 3 where you're gathered today. Just to give a little bit of background, when I first took office, I was part of a two-car family. My primary vehicle was an SUV, and I drove nearly everywhere. It would have never occurred to me to ride my bike here today. But it is through doing walk audits with organizations like Horizon Foundation and PATH. It is through my relationships with bike advocates that I'm actually at a place now where I've sold that SUV, and my primary vehicle is the orange kid-toting e-bike that you see back behind the tree. So, you know, we are here to celebrate changes in our community, but I think it's important for you to understand how these efforts have actually changed me and my family's life. My kids think it's bike first. You know, where are we going? To the village center? Okay, let's grab the bike. We've really changed how we view our community, how we participate, how we show up, and how we get around. And that is thanks to the efforts of everyone here today. And I am just one of the many stories like this throughout our community. You will see many, we jokingly call ourselves biking mamas with Christianas, but you'll see us around toting our kids because these changes have occurred in many of us. So I could not be more excited to share in the announcement of the proposed funding for over 24 transportation infrastructure improvements across the county. So that is covering our whole county. So wherever you live, there is an improvement coming near you. I could not be more happy that we have been recognized as a National Complete Streets Coalition top scoring 100%. This is truly thanks to the efforts of this Complete Streets implementation team. I cannot begin to tell you how dedicated these folks were. We were in meetings week after week. We even discussed lane widths for over an hour and a half. That's right, the width of a lane. But it is that important. Jeff and Leah remember. But it is that important to how we do everything, how we design a roadway. We as a county are really beginning to reverse our long-standing trend of solely investing in cars. When we invest in pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure improvements, we're investing in equity, accessibility, connection, and really freedom and choice. You now have a choice of how you get around your community, and that's not something that was always accessible to us. So thank you so much. If you see me around on my big orange bike, please feel free to say hi. I waved at some neighbors as I was passing Pastor Jones First Baptist Guilford Church this morning, and it is truly one of my favorite ways to get around. You truly meet everyone in your community and connect in deeper ways than you ever could have imagined. So thank you to everyone for being here today, for the changes you've helped inspire in me and my family's life and in our community. Thank you.
Okay, I love you guys, but maybe we didn't have enough coffee this morning. So, one more time, Howard County has the best complete streets policy in the nation, and we scored 100 out of 100 points. So I want not claps, but I want cheers. Woo! Let's go! And our amazing county executive thanked everybody but himself. And so I'm here to thank our county executive for putting in the investment, and thank you to the council members who approved it, to helping to pass the Complete Streets policy, and for putting soft and hard pressure on all of us here today to make it happen. So County Executive Ball, thank you. So I like being #1 in the nation. I'll just say that a few times while I'm up here today. I think we look good as #1, right? We do. We look really good. It is amazing to be a model for the country, right? And the things that are important to us, the community engagement piece, as Bruce was saying, in the early days, like, we had to convince people that this would be an amazing opportunity to ride and to walk and to stroll and to roll. We hosted open streets events where we had thousands of people here to help reimagine how different streets in Howard County could be built to accommodate all users. We had walk audits. Christiana went on one of our first one, where we brought our elected officials together at Pastor Jones Church so they could actually experience what it was like to walk on some of our dangerous intersections, how at Pastor Jones Church you were on one side of the street and you couldn't get to the park or the school on the other side of the street. And that has changed because of everybody here today. So again, whoops, let's have some whoops. I do want to thank the county council and again the county executive. If I did my math correct, and hopefully I did, like, we have over $30 million that we have invested to make our roads more accessible and more equitable. And I do want to emphasize the point of equity. The Complete Streets implementation team really drove that home, that we are here to center our most disadvantaged and our most overlooked populations, and that we want to build in their neighborhoods and make sure that they feel belonging and safety in our community. So this is a great story, right, of how a community and its leaders and its partners, all of us who are here today, can come together and create positive change. We raise the community voice to underscore how important biking, walking, strolling was, and accessibility and connectivity, how important that was to us, and our elected officials responded, right? They turned Complete Streets and you all here into reality by passing a strong policy, #1 in the nation, just saying, and funding these projects. It is so important. So to all of you here today, for each of you that have had a part in making this a historic day, #1 in the nation, I thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is definitely a glorious day to celebrate all that has been accomplished thus far with Complete Streets. I'm here representing 2 organizations. One is PATH, People Acting Together in Howard County, a power organization that seeks to coalesce people together around issues that we can resolve through coalition building. And I'm also here representing First Baptist Church of Guilford, where I have the pleasure of pastoring now going on 12 years. I want to say that as I'm a part of both organizations, the corner of Guilford and Oakland Mills Road was at one time a very savage place to drive and to walk. I've had many people who are part of our congregation who feared even walking to church. I myself had challenges and difficulties walking at that time my elementary school age daughter across the street where I lived in the parsonage to Guilford Elementary School. And she literally had to take the bus in order to go maybe a half a mile to school. I thought it was ridiculous. But because of the partners that are here today and because of the efforts of all of you present, Guilford and Oakland Mills Road is a safer place, and we ought to applaud that. I do want to say that while PATH is excited about the progress that has been made, and while First Baptist Church is very grateful to all that has transpired thus far, I want to commit to County Executive Ball and to County Chair Rigby that PATH and First Baptist Church of Guilford will stand with you for your 2024 budget, to making sure that Complete Streets policy is not only seen on Guilford and Oakland Mills Road, but throughout Howard County. And so we are thankful, and we plan to keep up the work. Thank you very much.
What a great turnout. You see, a recognition to be #1 makes a difference. We've got a lot of people out, a lot more than last year. So I'm a grandpa and a parent, obviously. So I get to be proud of all of you and proud of us for what we've accomplished together. And especially I'd like to thank Calvin Ball's administration, folks I worked with at the Office of Transportation and DPW, and my fellow advocates, BICOCO and Horizon Foundation. These are documents. They're great visions. We've got some implementation, yes. There's a lot more to do, and we need continued action to get that done. So as an elder, to age healthfully and happily requires connection with other people. That's been a theme that we've heard about before. Requires being outdoors, requires being active. And those are all things that Complete Streets support. At the other end of the spectrum, children who walk or bike to school have been shown in studies their behavior's better, their cognitive performance is better, their grades are better. Isn't that amazing? Just walking and biking to school makes that big a difference. So, you know, there's a lot of talk about electric cars, but that's not the answer to everything. We still, for all electric cars, you still have to pave roads. You've got to pave parking lots. You've still got congestion. Look at all the asphalt that it takes for the cars. I'm a driver. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not the only answer. So let's promote health, physical and mental, the health of the environment, and that theme, better relationships with each other. We do better when we're not behind a hunk of steel, when we're out here in the world with people interacting. So let's continue the progress by updating our subdivision and land use regulations. That's next. Why? So that every project we do improves walking, biking, and transit and makes it possible for future improvements. Let's reduce the amount, many of us are doing that already, and the speed at which we drive. Let's get outdoors, walk, bike, and ride with others. Let's identify and build the missing links. There still are a lot of links missing. Let's become advocates. Tell and praise your elected officials when they do what's right for multimodal transportation, and vote, not with your feet, vote for your feet, okay? Let them know what matters to you. So to me, this is even bigger. We're all talking around this, bigger than getting from place to place. Spiritually, after all, we are at a church. It's when we treat the body as a temple, when we recognize that human fulfillment comes from this outdoor interaction with each other, and when we honor creation, we really honor this beautiful world and the beautiful people around us. And so my spiritual tradition teaches that we move from thoughts to words, sometimes they're on paper, sometimes they're spoken, to action. And so I bless all of us individually and collectively for what we've accomplished already and what we will accomplish in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you. The Bicycle Advisory Group consists of over a dozen bicycling advocates, interested community members, local and state government representatives. It's established by the county as law to advise the county executive and the county administration on matters of bicycle transportation, the implementation of the bicycle master plan, and our Complete Streets policy. We are thrilled to see the great work of the past several years that has led us to be #1 in our Complete Streets policy in the country. We're even more thrilled to see that this effort is being implemented with significant investment in transportation alternatives for Howard County, investment that has an outsized impact in our quality of life, not just for pedestrians and cyclists, but for everyone. I just did a quick head count. About 20% of the folks that came here today bicycled, which means they didn't drive. Imagine if Howard County had 20% of the trips taken on bicycles, what that would do for the congestion in Howard County. You can't pave your way out of congestion, but 20% reduction in cars is a pretty big deal for everybody. Our transportation infrastructure determines whether we are comfortable considering alternatives to cars, alternatives which reduce traffic and pollution, incorporate exercise into our daily routine, and improve our connectedness with the community. Complete Streets will enable us to walk or bike for errands and short commutes, allow our children to walk or bike to school, and walk or ride to Howard County's many parks, community centers, pools, and other amenities. Because of past investments, we have wonderful walking and biking infrastructure in many parts of Howard County, and we're grateful to the county for electing to accelerate the growth of this foundation and increasing its connectedness. In conclusion, we are excited to see the nationally recognized Complete Streets policy, number one, be strongly supported by Dr. Ball's proposed budget, and when adopted, it will improve the ability of cyclists and pedestrians to safely travel around the county, and encourage all of us to incorporate these healthy activities into our daily lives. Thank you.